Mark,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yes.
Um,
Me too, man.
well, this
Me
also
too.
means that I'm in pain, which it's been a
Oh
while
no.
since I've lost sleep and actually been in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is weird for me because I think a lot of people around me like sometimes will just go with less sleep, but that's not a
Mm-hmm.
thing I can really do anymore unless, well, no, I just accept that I'm going to be in pain for the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jersey was in, and we had a phenomenal time.
Nice.
And yeah, unfortunately, I lost sleep in all of our shenanigans. And yeah, this is kind of weird. How often do you really go without sleep these days?
I mean, I always sleep.
Oh, so you chronically get like 8 hours?
Yeah, I try to get, I'd say, anywhere between oh, yeah, about between 6 and 8 almost every night. I mean, weekends are always kind of a crapshoot. It just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going out, then I'm always out late. But the issue is it's waking up. Like I always seem to wake up around the same time.
Mm.
I could go to bed at like 4 a.m. and then my internal clock is just like 7:15, motherfucker. And yeah, it's unfortunate.
See, I no matter what time I go to bed, I always shoot for 8. 6 I can
Hmm.
handle. Shoot for 8. I got 6 and 4
Yeah.
the past 2 nights. So yeah,
Ooh.
right leg's kicking my ass right now. I don't know how it's attached to my ass, but I guess you can kind of just like lift the leg up from behind and hit yourself with the
Hmm.
heel. But yeah, so this is kind of it's become a bit foreign to me. I just
The pain.
really no, well, okay, the right doesn't really flare up that much anymore.
Like,
It's really the
yeah.
left that does most of the damage these days, but no, it's really
No.
just the not having sleep. I think I even
Gotcha.
told a lot of my coworkers that like if I move to the night shift that I need to have 8 hours of sleep. It's just a thing
Hmm.
that my body unfortunately requires these days. So if there's an apocalypse, uh, I'm probably fucked because most of the time those people are waking up to
Oh
like
yeah.
getting fucked. Although that wouldn't be so bad.
Waking
Anyway,
up getting fucked. Yeah, that's a good way to wake up, I suppose.
welcome back.
As long as yeah, you're not being sodomized, I suppose.
Yes, of course, obviously. Welcome back to Great Scott Marcus. I'm Scott, and that one's Mark here on Ramble Entertainment on YouTube, where Mark and I like to get together and have conversations, and then for some god unknown reason, we post them to the internet.
Yeah.
Mark, how you doing outside of sleeping?
Not too bad. It's just another day. It's been kind of a relaxing weekend, I think. Easter's next weekend, so I'll be traveling back to T-Town, which unfortunately probably not recording then.
Not
Uh,
not a relaxing. You know what? I'm fine with it at this point. I think that we're making good headway. The channel's feeling healthy,
hmm
and I'm going to be getting Warframe content going. So having some
Nice.
weekends here and there to just continue get back into this swing of things would be nice,
Hmm.
and also still trying to get new shows going and kind of just running into things where it's just like this is a technical problem that needs to be overcome before
Hmm.
I do such a thing. So anyway, yeah, a busy weekend. Haven't had such a going out weekend in such a long time, but very enjoyable.
Bet it felt good though.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was great. Exhausting because typically I don't do those things anymore, but it was a lot of fun and makes me really look forward to the summer. But we'll be getting
Cool.
into that at another point in this show. So, Mark, first thing I want to talk about this week is moving on. Now, as I mentioned last week, had a breakup. These things happen. But I think that
Drink break.
drink break. I think that a lot of the people around me kind of look at me with. Hold on a second. I want to make sure that this isn't happening. It wasn't good. Um, Technical issues.
Ah, yes.
I want.
Yeah, there's like a static I gotta get figured out. I think it's just like I got a bunch of cables in the back of my computer, and I don't think you hear it, but it's just annoying.
I
as
think
fuck.
sometimes I might pick up on it. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. It might just be Skype static. Um,
It's true. It could be.
Either way, it's not that big a deal. We don't have that
Mhm.
large a viewership, especially for this show. So let's press forward. I think those around me kind of look at me with a bit of trepidation around this because
Ooh. 4 syllables on that one.
We should have a score. We should
Need a syllable counter.
But then I'd have to make a graphic, and the show really isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Maybe when it
notes.
is. So, wow, we're gonna be really rambly on this one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, trepidation. I guess thing about me is through my tumultuous kind of life that I've had to lead these past 4 years. There's another one for the scoreboard, by the way. I have really learned to just move on from things, kind of just be this like next crisis kind of guy where it's just like, whatever, it'll either work itself out or it won't, and I'm fucked. So, and I want to bring this up because I want to talk about like how you move on these days as someone who is basically the same age as me, tiny bit older, half year older, and yeah, I just kind of want to talk about flesh this out. So, your head, how's it doing?
Oh, my head's all right. Moving on, I've found is a lot about acceptance. I feel like
Seems
it's not
like a
as
theme
much...
we're going to be circling back to more on the show these days.
Yeah. It's not as much of like an act of progression as it is just taking things at face value and making something out of it. I guess I'm not sure if that's really kind of. You understand what I'm saying though? Like it's like I picture moving on just being like, all right, moving on. Like for dating example, I picture moving on. For some people, it's just like, okay, on to the next person. Where it's not, I don't think it's necessarily that, like in anything. I think it's just an acceptance, saying, okay, well, this is how this is.
But really, I
need
think
to change my thought process on that.
But really, I think a lot of it is like this projection of oneself onto others, where it's just like, oh, well, I have such a hard time with breakups, for example, where it's just like, oh, I have to spend at least like 72 months getting over this. Yeah, for me, it's just like, okay, so I spent about 2 months, feeling depressed over this. And that was actually even before the breakup, where it was just like, I don't want to bring this up because I want to see if I can just move past this, because my body is naturally, because of all of my issues, chemically imbalanced. Due to this, I deal with depression frequently. Depression is actually a chemical imbalance within the body. It's not like, oh, I totaled my car and I'm totally depressed, although obviously that can help lead to depression and the chemical imbalances that are a part of depression. But sometimes depression just happens because of the way in which our minds work, and it happens quite often for me. So that's just kind of another one of these things that's just kind of like gotten me into this mind state of just like, well, whatever, moving on. And so for me, I have, since this will post next week, I think at this point I'm okay with admitting it. I'm just kind of starting to get into this mindset of just like, it's time to move on, possibly start dating, doing things like that. And yeah, it's not that I want to shirk anyone's feelings. In fact, I think, and I think the others around me think, that I'm being a lot more caring about my ex, Jenny, than most would be. Where, like, hell, we've hung out all of twice, and Jersey already wanted me to meet his mom. So,
wow, you guys are moving fast.
actually, I made the comment to the three of them, him, his mom, and his sister. I was just like, I wonder if the waitress thinks we're gay because I'm meeting your family. and yeah, so like even to them, I was just like, yeah. So I broke up with her, but, we're still talking. Like I'm still helping her through this. And this is just kind of another one of those oddities where I think that circles back to more maturity than anything else. But, it's just, I find it, I can't help but find it intriguing, but also surprising that I am being so different about these things than those around me. Obviously, I've kind of grown through a very different set of circumstances, but at the same time, like, do you mind if I bring it up? How long did it really take for you to grapple with kind of breaking up with Steph, the first or second time, or
First, second, third time,
fourth, because you came to visit me one weekend, and it had like just happened within 2 weeks, and I could still tell even after that 2 weeks that you were still kind of just grappling with it.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to really put my finger on an exact time frame. I think with any other exes that I've had that it's taken time to get over on.
And of course, having more exes, I do think helps you grow through this and move on almost faster or more maturely. Continue.
I mean, I think and there's different parts to moving on. Sometimes it might be depression's one of them, and then maybe some anger, or maybe some regret.
It's almost like you're dying.
Yeah, I know. But no, I feel like there's all those different phases, and I'm
gonna taste delicious.
It could be about like 3 months, just to kind of get back to that neutral position and not be so, I don't know, all over the place, scatterminded or revengeful, whatever it is that some people
Revengeance.
Exactly. I don't know. I feel like at times if you were to break up with somebody or someone breaks up with you get this mentality. So I know I have in the past, where just like, well, fuck this person. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, and I'm going to hope they find out about it.
and I definitely think that's one of those things where it's just like, don't be that person.
Right. Yeah,
and I also think that that's something we all have to experience and almost grow through. Because it kind of helps us to relate to one another, just to be in that situation where it's just like, well, fuck that person, I hate them, and I hope they know that I just banged that chick or dude or object. Maybe
this couch. I hate you.
Maybe not that last one. Sometimes it's not the first breakup. Sometimes it comes later, but that's one to definitely not embrace ever. It's definitely one to just kind of get past, but it happened to me when I was very young, and it happens to all of us. I think it even happened it happened to people I knew in college, where it was just like, okay, I've seen this before. I know what this is. And it's nice to actually reflect back on that, because a lot of times I look back at myself 2 years ago, 4 years ago, in college, whatever, and I'm just like, I was a stupid person. And oh, you're getting all pixelated. Mark, no. Sad panda. And I actually recall an instance where I had a friend who was going through a rough breakup, and they were being kind of stupid and an ass, and I was just like, you know what? I've been through this. And even back when I was kind of douchey, I was just like, it's gonna be okay. I'm here. It's cool. Like, we're gonna get you through this. And I guess I'm kind of proud of myself. Good job, Scott, for being more mature back then when you weren't as mature as you are now. I'll probably look back at this and be like, man, you were an ass and a douche, and get over yourself.
After that, you're like, God, that guy sucks.
That guy sucked too.
That guy still sucks.
When I'm living on Mars, those guys on Earth really sucked.
Old Earth me, what an asshole.
But aside from even just relationships, I'm very prone to just moving on from issues and things in general these days, and I want to flush this out more, but it's just like, where do we even begin? Like, you can look at like even some of our conversations. Like, I can't help but reflect on when you talked about like why aren't people keeping their shit up to date? Well, that's a very Apple thing. As a Windows power user, it's just a thing where having total control actually gives you more security, not less. And it's just kind of like, well, how long does it kind of take to grapple with that concept? And I don't know. I wish I could flush this out more, but this might just be one of those where it's just like, moving on is something I've gotten really good at because I've had a lot of shitty situations.
Yeah. There's not much of a point here. I don't think that needs to be made.
No, not again. Here to have a conversation. Sometimes there's something neat that comes out of us. That's
like, oh wow, look at that gem. Moving on, accepting. I think.
Why was there a gem inside you? Anyway,
Today's one of those days, man. Like my brain is just operating at like 25%. It seems like.
like I said, I'm tired, in pain. Why don't we head into the next ramble? Because I think we're just gonna start dancing around this, and
Dare I say this? Moving on to the next ramble. Oh, kick me if you can.
Womack, you piece of shit. I should have known.